Guys, we are back for another team versus Dokkan video. So what I've been doing is I've been taking kind of like the, last year's release and putting up against, like this year's release. So last year, the Tanabata Part 2 LR was LR Fusion Zamasu, and this year the Tanabata Part 2 LR was LR Omega Shenron. Now, I do think that Fusion Zamasu on release was very powerful, but obviously as like stronger teams, stronger characters have come out, Fusion Zamasu has just kind of been lost. I do feel like he could still be a very competitive character if he had a strong team. The only thing is that, I mean, we know how villain teams are these days, where it's like these villain teams would need in one celebration, 3 or 4 powerful characters. Is it going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. So what we're doing here is we're doing Omega Shenron's GT Bosses team. We got a dodge by the 17s already. That was nice. And then I decided, Fusion Zamasu does have a 200% team, Vegeta and Trunks's. So I decided we'd just run a full future Vegeta and Trunks team. Now, what's funny is we do have this Trunks. We also have Vegito Blue, but we actually do not have Vegeta and Trunks' intro active. Because we do not have another bond of parent and child category character on the team. So this is perfect. We got Fusion Zamasu and Omega Shenron's intros up at the same time. Both, of course, look really good. Fusion Zamasu's, though, is just, I mean, Fusion Zamasu's got like a top 5 intro still or something, right? Like, it's crazy. It's so long, too. Like, Fusion Zamasu and Golden Frieza, their intros just go on and on and on. I love it. I love it. I've said this many times, but intros really are my favorite animations in the game. Now, okay, so we're rocking a future team. So, we're going to probably have Vegeta and Trunks just chilling in slot 1 throughout the majority of this run. And then the rest of these powerful LRs and powerful characters can sort of clean up. Now, obviously, running LR Omega Shenron's team, GT Bosses, I mean, the team is very weak, right? Like, the 17s are a decent Dokkan Fest character, but they don't become outstanding until past turn 5, under 70% HP. Like, it's just tough. It's tough to get Super 17 out. It's like, like, look at this. AGL Super 17, he came out, like, the day Tech Ultimate Gohan came out, pretty much. Like, years ago. It's just nuts to think about. Like, it's crazy. They drop a Carnival LR Omega Shenron, and they're telling you to run GT Bosses, which just has nothing. You just almost cannot believe it, right? It's like, dude, so LR Goku Black and Zamasu, like, they would be like the third best character on GT Bosses or something, right? They're an easy 8 LR from a year ago, dude. It's crazy. We also have a sighting for AGL Goku Black right there. I mean, again, Fusion Zamasu could get, I think, could be a strong unit still, if there was like a very competitive sort of like future, worldwide chaos, time traveler, realm of God, court of body and mind, like type of like team, right? I do think that like we could easily like base Goku Black and Rose Goku Black. Basically, we get like a new version of each of them. I mean, they could easy AGL Zamasu. We'd have Fusion Zamasu. One thing they could easily just do, and there is precedent to this too, they could just release a Fusion Zamasu that has a new name, right? Like Fusion Zamasu Corrupted or something like that. Or it could be the Fusion Zamasu that eventually turns into like the Infinite Zamasu, like Zamasu Faces in the Sky thing. That could certainly happen. And again, there is a precedent for that to happen already. Because we had the original Universe 6 or 7 Blue Kaioken Goku. Remember, they just called him Blue Goku. It was Super Saiyan Blue Goku. But then, when they released the Tournament of Power Blue Kaioken Goku, they did call him Blue Kaioken Goku, right? So perhaps it's something we could see. I don't know. I decided to use LR Vegeta and Trunks' active a little bit early here. I wanted a little bit of extra defensive ability. Now, one of the things here is I did decide to bring AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks, who is a pre-Red Zone meta character. So it is a little bit iffy bringing that AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks, right? Like, he's not exactly what you would consider a supremely good character. I believe Trunks actually does get super attacked right here, too, which is kind of unfortunate. And then the other thing, too, is remember, Fusion Zamasu, while he can be a strong character, I mean, I do think that, like, links and key and stuff like that, you know, certainly could be a little bit of an issue. Fusion Zamasu, of course, is not going to be, like, a slot 1 character either. You know, we are going to be rocking him in slot 2 or 3. So that's one important thing to understand. It's like, I wish I didn't want to bring STR Rose. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of STR Rose. I mean, I certainly could have, right? Like, we could have built kind of like a team to potentially have Vegeta and Trunks in slot 1 in each rotation, and then maybe just try and have big bad bosses up for, like, all the rest of the characters. Like we could have done that, but it's like, you know, bringing, like, STR Rose, I mean, it does get a little bit down. Like, it's not the craziest. Like, Goku Black and Zamasu, bringing them, they're fine. Like, they're a strong unit. I mean, they could heal, they guard for the first couple of turns, but I mean, I guess towards the end of these fights against the really big bosses, they could struggle just like, I mean, many EZA characters honestly could. Now, AGL Trunks, remember that he actually has a lot of similarities, believe it or not, to the Dokkan Fest Super Trunks. We get, I mean, honestly, kind of shoddy RNG with Trunks. We do get one super attack, but again, I believe Second Form Cell does actually plaster Trunks with a super attack. So I'm really glad I used the Father-Son Gallet Gun, which again, remember, gives the entire rotation defense. Then over there on the GT bosses side, we're kind of just cruising. Remember that a lot of the animations on these future characters are very, very long, right? Like the Father-Son Gallet Gun, Vegeta and Trunks' intro, which wasn't played, but a lot of those animations are just super long. So, you know, it's like the Vegeta and Trunks future team starts to drag a little bit behind. Whereas, like, a lot of these other, like, GT bosses characters, like, their animations are not that elaborate. Like, I do think Omega Shenron, like this right here, the 18 key for Omega Shenron, certainly does look very good, right, as he's kind of cycling through a lot of the other abilities of the other Shadow Dragons. But it's like, man, you know, using these teams, I did just hop into the Red Zone Cell fight, by the way, because I wanted to, for sure, because of the way Fusion Zamasu was set up mostly, where he has to do a lot of super attacks in order to be able to do his active skill, which I did want to get in the video here. I wanted to do one of these longer stages, but I also didn't want to do something super tough, because it's like, we're using kind of this, like, a future category team, which, you know, we have some really good characters like LR Vegito Blue and Vegeta and Trunks and stuff like that, but it's not exactly like a super cohesive team. And, I mean, we have some very weak characters. AGL Goku Black, and then AGL Trunks, I mean, I would consider pretty weak characters at this point, right? So with them around, I didn't really want to push our limits in too difficult of a stage. And, you know, obviously GT bosses, man. Like, the last team versus video I did was the Carnival Goku versus the Carnival Kid Gohan. I did it in the hardest fight in the game, the Omega Shenron fight, because, I mean, those two Carnival LRs that, you know, we got a new hardest fight in the game, and both of the Carnival LRs, I think, are some of the best characters in the game for that fight, right? Like, just the way their designs are, that fight is just, like, tailor-made to those characters getting full, like, you know, use out of their kits. Whereas, like, you know, Omega Shenron and Fusion Zamasu, I mean, Omega Shenron has a team, it's just the team sucks and it's very weak. Fusion Zamasu, honestly, I wouldn't even say really has a team, unfortunately. This is something that, like, you know, with perfect RNG and stuff like that, like, you could use this kind of, like, future team we're using. But it's exactly the type of team where one bad thing happens and things can break down quite a bit. I mean, to be fair, we did get supered on AGL Trunks, and we do kind of bring it back. I mean, see, Fusion Zamasu, I mean, he's got some stuff, right? You know, with his damage reduction and his orb changing and all of his super attacks, and, you know, he's able to get a lot of defense. I could see, like, if they gave us a ridiculously good, like, Goku Black, like, Dokkan Fest LR, Carnival LR, something like that, I do think Fusion Zamasu would be very helpful. I mean, is he going to be a top 10 LR Fusion Zamasu? No. But, I mean, he can be a great character still, right? I mean, you never know what they're going to do, right? Like, I feel like the cooler team was done so expertly during the 2022 Worldwide Download Celebration, so I do want to hold out hopes for the villain team of this Worldwide. Now, okay, this is crazy. We get the Trunks transformation, and I knew it was going to happen right away. This Cell can be stunned, so Trunks, remember, it's something that I think this might actually be the only time I've ever been able to take advantage of it. Maybe. I think. I don't know. But Trunks right here, transforming, remember, he seals and stuns the targeted enemy when he transforms. So we actually got value out of that, which is so crazy. Dokkan Fest Trunks' transformation right here, and we actually got the stun on that perfect cell. Like, I think that's so funny. Like, we actually did that. Is funny. Now, Trunks doesn't link super well with the team that we're rocking and stuff like that here. So, I mean, Trunks has been missing super attacks, you know, the entire run, basically. And then we know how God King of the game Vegito Blue is, right? Like, that boy is just going to super and super and super and super and just do tons and tons of damage. We had a pretty clean run for the GT bosses side, all things considered, right? Like, you know, the Carnival Omegas, Carnival Omega is very powerful. The one really thing I don't like about him is the fact that his Rainbow Orb changing is time-gated. I think that's something that really does hurt LR Omega. More so, like, you probably want to run Tech Sin with him, but you're going to get the other rotation, so this is going to be the rotation right here, like, exactly what I'm talking about. You know, obviously we're running Omega and Saw 1 right here, and then there's, like, no Rainbow Orbs to use, right, which is a huge, huge issue. Because Omega Shenron, he gets damage reduction based on GT bosses' allies, but then also with Rainbow Orbs obtained. So Omega, you know, I find that he really gets quite weak, believe it or not, towards the end of fights, because of the fact that his Rainbow Orb changing runs out. I hate it. I think it was just a really bad, like, design choice for Omega. If his Rainbow Orb changing was permanent, I mean, there are still, of course, issues because you have to use him with a GT bosses lineup, but it's not, like, the worst ever. But, like, just, I don't know. I've found it frustrating. I've already lost off of Omega, you know, not creating Rainbow Orbs anymore. Again, it's just kind of a frustrating ability. And then, of course, we have, you know, Fusion Zamasu continuing to cook over here, doing as much as we can. Now, I have saved his active skill, right? We do save Fusion Zamasu's active skill for the final phase, and I'm pretty glad we did that. This double digits, yeah, on Omega right there. That super attack, that animation still does look pretty good, huh? That perfect cell super attack right there. It's just kind of a rare thing to see, because it's like that cell, like, you have to transform with that cell, which is not like a super consistent thing. And then here we get LR Vegito Blue's active skill. One thing that I always like to think of with these team versus videos, again, we kind of just see like two kind of like strong setups that the characters can participate in, but I do like to kind of get like a lot of these animations and stuff in here. And it's, you know, this is where Dokkan, I mean, now, you know, we have years and years of these good animations. It's just really fun, right? Like Vegito, that final Kamehameha by Vegito Blue still looks so good, and it's, you know, been around for so many years at this point. All right, so we got Fusion Zamasu's active skill right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind with active skills is that it does activate the character's full passive. I'm well aware of this with what follows, right? So remember, I know that Fusion Zamasu is going to get his guaranteed additional super attack with his active right there. And we actually do get the very rare KO screen for LR Omega Shenron off of his active skill, which is good. So I decided to, like, I was a little bit nervous about Trunks. So Fusion Zamasu needs Ki and Trunks needs Ki as well. I decided to go with Trunks in the middle slot, just to guaranteed give him a super attack. And then I felt like the INT orbs would fall down nicely for us. I mean, just take a look at that right there, right? Like, it seems like the INT orbs will fall down for us nicely, but it's unfortunately not really the way it works out. So we are going to miss this super attack, but again, by activating Fusion Zamasu's active skill, his full passive is up, which means he has his guaranteed additional super anyway, regardless, even though we missed his super attack, right? So that's something to keep in mind. I believe we do good. We actually get to see that AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks' animation. Now, I couldn't even tell you the last time I used AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks. I might not even have used him within the last year or something. Dude, I honestly cannot remember. AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks, to me, is actually like the saddest release of all time. He was not like weak on release. Like, it's not like a Raditz situation, right? It's just the way power creep exploded with Red Zone 2 months after this guy came out, it just killed him. Like, and you know, like, hybrid Saiyans are not, like, they're not a competitive team, right? Like, once Red Zone happened. So it's just like Trunks just got completely cucked. There's probably no character in the game whose EZA I'm rooting harder for besides Raditz. Dokkan Fest Raditz being, like, the strongest character ever on his EZA would be so healthy for the game. Like, Dokkan nailed it with the EZAs for the Blue Fusions. Like, very smartly, very wisely, huge W. Dokkan, I think, Raditz being just, like, the god EZA, they would be so smart to do that. That would be such a popular decision. I personally am rooting for AGL Trunks as well. AGL Trunks, and then Hit and God Goku. Those two characters, to me, were very strong characters who were just completely wiped away by the Red Zone, right? So it's like they never really got a chance. So I am really rooting for those two characters' EZAs to be exceptional, although we still are quite a ways away from... Those are deep, late 2021 characters, and, you know, we have not even had a single... We haven't... What's the latest premium character to EZA? It's still Blue Kaioken Goku, April of 2020 on JP. It's still the latest character to EZA. And then if you want to say Blue Kaioken was a 2019 unit on Global, which he was, December 2019, then I guess we'd say Beerus. Dokkan Fest Beerus is the youngest character to EZA. Premium character, right? Summonable LR or Dokkan Fest. It's Beerus. Physical Dokkan Fest Beerus, who's in March of 2020. So, we still are a ways from 2021 characters EZAing, but I certainly would like to see, again, Dokkan Fest Trunks, Hit and God Goku get really good EZAs. I think Tech Kefla was able to be pretty effective in Red Zone fights. The Tech Androids, of course, as well. They were not hurt by the Red Zone meta. STR Kid Buu kind of never really got a chance to spread his wings. Physical Super Saiyan 3 certainly did get a lot of use, right? He was definitely at least a very versatile character that was on a lot of 200%, and he was definitely very... I mean, he was just better than a lot of the game in early Red Zone days, but, I mean, you know, he wasn't really very defensive. But there we go. There was the team versus for LR Omega Shenron and LR Fusion ZAMASU. Let me know what you think of these two. Their teams aren't very good, but, I mean, I think the aesthetics of both LRs, at the very least, are pretty kick-ass. So, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch y'all next time.